You think of yourself as fully human. Your DNA disagrees. A small piece of it belongs to a species that went extinct 40,000 years ago. Neanderthals were a distinct human species, closely related to modern humans but genetically separate, who lived across Europe and parts of Asia for hundreds of thousands of years before disappearing from the fossil record roughly 40,000 years ago. For decades, the relationship between Neanderthals and modern humans was debated, with many researchers assuming the two groups had little to no direct genetic connection. That assumption changed permanently with the sequencing of the Neanderthal genome. The breakthrough came from geneticist Svante Pääbo and his team, who spent years developing techniques to extract and sequence extremely degraded ancient DNA from Neanderthal remains, overcoming enormous technical challenges since DNA breaks down significantly over tens of thousands of years. In 2010, Pääbo's team published the first substantially complete draft of the Neanderthal genome, allowing a direct comparison against modern human DNA for the first time. The result was unambiguous. Modern humans whose ancestry traces outside Africa carry measurable amounts of Neanderthal DNA, typically somewhere between 1 and 2% of their total genome, a signature left behind by interbreeding between the two groups tens of thousands of years ago. For this work, Pääbo was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 2022. Here's how this actually happened. As modern humans migrated out of Africa, they encountered Neanderthal populations already established across Europe and Asia. Genetic evidence indicates that interbreeding occurred between these groups, likely in multiple separate instances over a span of thousands of years. The offspring of those pairings carried a mix of Neanderthal and modern human DNA, and as modern human populations expanded and spread, that Neanderthal genetic material spread along with them, becoming diluted but never fully disappearing from the genomes of their descendants. Populations with ancestry tracing primarily to Africa, whose ancestors never left the continent where interbreeding wasn't occurring, generally carry little to no Neanderthal DNA as a result. Here's where it gets stranger. This inherited DNA isn't just a silent genetic leftover. Researchers have identified specific Neanderthal-derived genetic variants that appear to have real, measurable effects on modern human biology. Certain Neanderthal gene variants have been linked in published research to differences in immune system function, skin and hair characteristics, and how some people process specific compounds. Perhaps most strikingly, during the COVID-19 pandemic, researchers identified a specific cluster of genes inherited from Neanderthals that was associated with an increased risk of severe illness from the virus in certain populations, a genuinely direct, modern-day health consequence traced back to interbreeding that occurred tens of thousands of years before either species had ever encountered a coronavirus. Other inherited Neanderthal variants appear to have been beneficial rather than harmful. Some research has linked specific Neanderthal-derived genes to immune system adaptations that may have helped early modern human populations respond to unfamiliar pathogens as they moved into new environments outside Africa, suggesting the genetic legacy isn't uniformly negative, but a complicated mixture of both helpful and harmful effects, depending on the specific gene and the specific population carrying it. None of this means Neanderthals were simply an earlier, more primitive version of modern humans, an outdated assumption that genetic and archaeological research has substantially revised. Evidence indicates Neanderthals controlled fire, made tools, and in some documented cases may have created symbolic art and buried their dead deliberately, behaviors once assumed to be uniquely modern human. The two groups weren't simply predecessor and successor. For a significant stretch of time, they coexisted, interacted, and in some cases had children together, leaving a permanent genetic record of that overlap embedded directly in the DNA of billions of people alive today. You are not simply descended from modern humans in an unbroken single-species line. Somewhere in your genome, if your ancestry traces outside Africa, there's a small but real piece of a different human species entirely. One that vanished from the world 40,000 years ago, but never fully vanished from you.